Nowadays, big video games companies such as Sony or Microsoft have started what I like to call the war of shooters. They're battling to see who creates the most impressive and good-looking post-apocalyptic shooter. However, they seem to concentrate on graphics more than any other thing, so they have got a clear weak spot over there. For a long time, only Sony and Microsoft were battling on this war, and Nintendo was just laughing out loud while they were developing the most supreme weapon. Sony has got Call of Duty, and well, a lot of other stuff actually. Microsoft has got Halo, and Nintendo, who seems to be hidden all this time, has got Splatoon. Although Splatoon is not a post-apocalyptic shooter, it's Nintendo's plan to make the Wii more appealing for other kind of gamers. However, in this game, killing isn't what grants you victory, but painting the most land possible. The main characters are called Inklings, and can morph into human form by the age of 14, as explained on the game's commercial. Okay, I think that's enough. Maybe this game isn't as hardcore as it looks, as it still has the childish theme Nintendo likes to add to all of their games. However, as I said before, in the world of shooters, the one who creates the most realistic graphics is the winner. Nintendo has wanted to break this rule, so if you think that this game is Nintendo's response to Call of Duty, you are wrong. All they wanted to do is to make a different shooter. Will that work? Let's start the review. Yeah, it doesn't have realistic graphics, so it's childish and blah blah. But when did I state that the more realistic, the better? Just look at Sonic 06. Splatoon has its own style, and it's actually stunning to me. The environment is very different to the ones featuring the regular first-person shooters you probably know from Sony and Microsoft. Instead of abandoned cities and demolished buildings, you've got an entire city ready to be painted until the ink fades away. And instead of dark and gloomy textures, you get bright and colorful art. Even the paint looks nice. And what about the fact that all shooters are from grown-up people? Even though they're filled with 12-year-olds raging about their death. There's not even red ink! In this game, it's child and friendly, and you can't kill anybody, but rather squirt them with paint until they explode. But hey, we were talking about graphics, weren't we? Well, there's not much I can say, just that it's Nintendo, and trust me, if the graphics were realistic, then it wouldn't have shipped 1 million copies in 1 month. Nintendo is Nintendo, and people don't want them to change. Sound is probably one of the aspects they've put the most effort into. In fact, music festivals will be held every month on the game, featuring Kali and Mari, also known as the Squid Sisters. Although it's impossible to understand what they are actually singing. The soundtrack of the game is much better this way. And by the way, have you ever seen a TV channel in which the most famous singer of your area hosts the news? Inkopolis should be smaller than it actually looks, to be honest. As I just mentioned, the soundtrack is really good, but there are too few songs, which is a shame because I think this game deserves to have more songs sung by the Squid Sisters. But there's hope, because there's a lot of extra content coming. Simple gameplay, but there are a lot of ways to have fun, and it's more original than regular first-person shooters. First of all, this game is not an FPS, but a TBS. Does that exist? I don't know anyway. And there are a lot of different weapons depending on how you want to play or how you play better. With shooters, rollers and charger. Many people say that the chances of winning a turf war depends of the numbers of rollers, but I think it depends more on the number of Japanese dudes, which are not hard to find though. The fact that there are multiple weapons to play with and a massive set of special weapons make this game even more complex, since they won't try to kill you just by shooting at you. You can be squashed by a roller or burst by a charger. But are online battles the only main feature about this game? No, there's also an adventure mode. Splatoon has also an interesting single player mode, which has even a story, which I'm going to tell you right now without spoilers. The Great Zapfish, located on top of Inkopolis Tower, has been stolen by a bunch of grumpy octopi. You, Agent number 3, have to kill them all, bring all other lost Zapfishes back to town, and put the giant Zapfish back to its place. The end. Okay, probably the story isn't that complex, but at least missions are fun to play. There are 27 different missions plus 5 boss battles. This is probably my favorite feature of the game because it's basically made to show that this game goes much further than Call of Duty. The difficulty curve on this mode is pretty weird. It can go from pretty easy to fairly hard at any time, and then come back to pretty easy. But this issue is definitely outweighed by the fact that there's something new in each level. Now that I've tried and beaten adventure mode, I can say that it was way better than I was expecting. I was expecting a short story and short levels because, well, you enter this mode through a drain. But my mind was completely blown after going there. However, if you want a place to chill out and meet some inklings, buy some stuff and let senpai notice you, there's the plaza. It's not a place where you'd spend hours doing stuff, as there are just 3 shops and a skid minigame you can play infinitely without having your streak ruined by a Japanese dude who enters your room in the worst moment possible. But at least it has enough stuff to be a decent place. There are a lot of inklings in the plaza. We say extremely random things when you get close to them. Sometimes there's 2 inklings talking and the answer of the other has nothing to do with what his partner just said. But this is not Nintendo's fault. They're some of the latest or more popular Miiverse posts. In the shops, you can buy clothes, weapons and shoes. And the shops have, well, strange employees? These items will help you improve your performance in battle, since all of the clothes you buy have power-ups. There are a lot of different power-ups. Some make you go faster, others make you slightly invisible, others make you stronger. All we need now is a power-up that allows you to avoid being crushed by a roller a second after touching the land, when it's the Super Jump, another of the many exclusive features of Splatoon. Nintendo has put a lot of effort to make this game as thrilling, exciting and unpredictable as possible, and they kinda did it. You might lose at the last second even if you've been wrecking all other players the whole match. Nevertheless, online battles have also got some issues. For example, the max level you can get is level 20, and that's it. You can't go any higher, and there's no way to lose points. So you'll stay at level 20 forever until Nintendo decides to update the game. However, if you want something more hardcore, there are also ranked battles. There, only a really small amount of the land is what makes you win. You need to be level 10 to access these battles, but it will worth it, even though it's a perfect excuse for camping. Well, everything can happen anyway. Oh, and there's also amiibo compatibility. Nintendo has released 3 different amiibos based on the game: Inkling Boy, Inkling Girl, and Inkling Squid. This amiibo just makes adventure mode way harder than it actually is. Timed missions, roller exclusive missions, and probably your worst nightmare. Missions with ink limit. Do I even need to speak about this? Maybe online models didn't work really well at the beginning, probably because Nintendo wasn't expecting that so many people were buying this game. But now they work almost perfectly. I still have some issues, but really occasionally. Some people complaining about this game not having a voice chat, and yeah, I'm looking at you, IGN. I actually think this game should never have an online voice chat. I don't want to hear 12-year-olds raging out roller this on my ears. I've seen enough Call of Duty stuff. And if you want to talk to your friend while playing Splatoon with other 6 people, isn't it better to do a Skype call? I'd find it pretty annoying if there were 6 people you don't know interrupting your conversation. Yeah, you can deactivate this feature whenever you want, but I know there are people that won't do so just to bully innocent people. Online battles run at 60 frames per second with barely no lag, so the experience is pretty comfortable. In fact, the playset is the only place in which the game does not run at 60 frames per second, but at 30 frames per second. The game also features a kinda cool multiplayer mode in which the one who pops the most balloons wins. But that's not enough for me. We need more features for local multiplayer. Popping balloon looks boring to play for a long time. I would definitely switch to Mario Kart 8. However, since online multiplayer is basically what makes this game, I'm not gonna care that much about that issue. Definitely a must-buy game that every Wii U owner needs to have. An unique concept which is actually very well performed and will entertain you every time you play. This game has created a legacy that will last for years, as well as Mario Kart 8 and Super Smash Bros. Did. Definitely a game that will drive the Wii U sales regarding the amount of good criticism it has received. Yeah, I'm looking at you again, IGN. However, I feel like it has too few content, but Nintendo will add more, I'm pretty sure. For the moment, my rating is an 89 because of that. I was about to give it a 90, but I feel like 89 was more honest and looked actually more professional. And this is the end of the review. Subscribe to the Golden Ring to see more reviews like this, and don't forget to subscribe to my personal channel, where you will find loads of Nintendo related top 10s, in which you'll learn lots of cool Nintendo facts, trivia to prove your Nintendo knowledge, and top 5 plays where you can send your stuff. See you soon!